Hello my Luminites, it is Ivy and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, hello, my name is Ivy, also known as Intuitive Ivy, here on this YouTube channel as well as on my Instagram and on my TikTok. I am also the co-owner of an amazing spiritual business company called Unearthly Treasures, where we just released Yule candles and wax melts. So right now we're having a sale for, you can get a candle, a Yule candle that has like its herbs and berries and it's themed and it's, you know, it smells like a Christmas tree. We also just brought in wax melts. They're each $6, or you can get a pack of 5 for just $20, so it's like getting one for free. And moving on, I am also the host of a podcast called the Woo Woo Podcast, a podcast for the spiritually open-minded. I am so excited because we are talking about a ton of amazing subjects, some subjects that I haven't even covered here. We're talking about the Galactic Federation, we're talking about near-death experiences, we're talking about the Anunnaki, we're talking about all kinds of amazing, crazy stuff. So you guys, if you guys are into that, please head on over to the Woo Woo Podcast. I'll post the link down below. Hi, my name is Ivy. If you are new here, this channel is all about the magical, the mystical, and the supernatural. So if you are into one or all three of those things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on that notification bell to be notified when I post. So today we're going to be talking about the different types of witches, because yes, there's a lot of different kinds. When you're first starting out, it's a lot easier to just not have a title, but there are some established witches that kind of, you know, with time figure out, I'm gonna practice this practice, or I'm gonna practice this one, and they're called different kinds of witches. So we're gonna take a look at some of the most popular and common witch types and what it entails. So in case you are a beginner witch, or you're somewhere along the journey and you're sort of already kind of like are grasping what you truly want to pursue, if one of these paths call out to you, then maybe that's the path that's meant for you. And if none of them do, then that's okay. Okay, so number one is the Cosmic Witch. So the Cosmic Witch is definitely a path that I was very interested in pursuing. So Cosmic Witches are witches that work with outer space, they work with constellations, they work with the moon and the planets. They are very much into astrology and astronomy, and you work with magic among the cosmos. So it's all cosmic, outer space magic. I definitely feel more in tune with outer space than I do with nature and this planet for some reason. There are a lot of subtypes for cosmic witches. For example, there's the Lunar Witch, and the Lunar Witch is the type of witch that basically just works with the moon and its cycles. Next would be the Solar Witch. So the Solar Witch is another subtype of the Cosmic Witch, working with obviously just the sun. So the Solar Witch works with just the energy of the sun. Next, again, is very simple as soon as I say it. A planetary witch is a type of witch that works with, you guessed it, the planets. And the next and last category, subcategory among the Cosmic Witch, is a astrology witch. So this is a witch that doesn't dabble into lunar witchcraft or solar witchcraft. They strictly stick to astrology. So the next one that we're going to talk about is number 2, the Crystal Witch, which again, pretty self-explanatory. It's a witch that likes crystals and works all of their magic and rituals involving crystals. These are the type of witches that crystals just fill their homes. Like you walk in and there's like crystal clusters everywhere. They also tend to wear a lot of jewelry. I mean, a lot of witches tend to wear a lot of crystal jewelry, but they are all out on crystals and crystal jewelry. They're the ones that, like, when you ask for a crystal or when you ask for like a crystal recommendation for you, they know exactly what every crystal means and what's gonna work best for you at this period in time in your life. Those are crystal witches. And another thing that crystal witches specifically do is to call the energy of their crystals when they're doing their magic and when they're doing their rituals. Number 3 is the Gardenarian Witch. So a Gardenarian Witch is a custom of Wicca. So like a Wiccan witch, it involves the Wicca religion. So this is something that began in the 1950s after Harold Gardner, or Gerald Gardner, it's a G, so Gerald, spread this form of witchcraft around the world. Gardenarian Wicca is very nature-based. Okay, so a type of witch number 4 is the Sea Witch. It's a witch that loves bodies of water. They love the ocean. Everything that they practice, all of their rituals, all of their spell work has to do with some form of oceans, shells, different things that involve the sea. The Sea Witch is a type of witch that will take any opportunity to jump into a body of water, or to explore a body of water, or to go to a body of water for when they're working with spells. So whenever they have any sort of ritual to do, they're the first thing that they're gonna think of is like, okay, I gotta get to the ocean. Okay, I gotta get to the sea. That's what they work with, and that's what they use in their practice. Okay, number 5 is the Hedge Witch. They're called Hedge Witches because they practice something called the hedge jump. Basically, what makes a Hedge Witch a Hedge Witch is that they can jump between like realms. So they can jump in between our physical realm and the spirit realm, and they're basically able to jump and deliver messages from both realms to each other. Sort of like their messenger, they're in between, their medium. Because they're able to bounce back and jump into both portals, both the spirit and the physical, back and forth, to be able to have a sort of communication with both worlds. And this was another practice that I really wanted to do as well. So hedge witches also have a tendency to astral project a lot. They know how to astral project, they know how to lucid dream, because they are very involved. They're very, like I said, like their body is here, but their spirit can travel and jump into other different dimensions and directions. They love to learn not just about herbs that are, you know, help and heal, but they like to learn about poisonous herbs as well, because again, they're tied to the spirit realm as well. Okay, so the next type of witch that we're going to talk about are the wild witches. So the wild witches are actually considered even a more older tradition than Wiccan witches. The wild witches back in the day used to be the ones that would heal people around the town, and they would be like midwives to women. The wild witches still exist to this day. They don't work with any deities, but instead they worship the earth and they worship the moon. So wild witches tend to live on the countryside, and they like to share their home with animals. And I don't just mean pets like dogs and cats and animals that we typically find here, but you know, wild native animals as well. Number 7 is the Green Witch. So the Green Witch, this is one that I feel like a lot of people are very familiar with, because Green Witchery, I mean, it became like a big book, The Green Witch. Green witches like to work with nature. They like to work with the earth. They like to, all of their magic is very much nature based. They work with a lot of teas and herbs to make teas. They're very much based off of like old apothecary style vibes, you know? Like they like to work with nature to help heal. They work with remedies. They're the type of person that, like, if they're sick, they are definitely not going to go to like pharmaceutical drugs. They're definitely just going to look into their herbs and remedy books and heal themselves with those natural remedies. Witch number 8 is the Kitchen Witch. So a kitchen witch strictly works with kitchen-based materials. So they like to do all of their spell work and their magic in the kitchen. They cook with intention. They drink with intention. Every time they cook or make pastries or any sort of, you know, food-based items, there's intention behind it. There's magic behind it. Literally, they bring out the magic of food. And so their thing is basically like feeding the spirit with physical food, which I think is something that's really beautiful. And I know a few people that feel very called to this particular path. Okay, so number 9 is the Elemental Witch. So the Elemental Witch works strictly with the 4 or 5 elements. So it would be very based, so all of their magic, all of their spell work, all of their rituals will be very based off of fire, earth, air, water. Why did I forget water? Water, and some elemental witches will work with the 5th element, spirit. So they're very knowledgeable, of course, they have to be, with each element and what each element can bring into their space. Number 10 is my type of witch. As of right now, of course you can always change your path, but my path right now is the path that many witches are on, which is the Eclectic Witch. The Eclectic Witch doesn't have any fixated religions, customs, traditions. Like, the Eclectic Witch doesn't have to stick to one particular path. They don't have to just dabble into nature. They don't just have to dabble into cosmic things. They can dabble into everything. That's what makes an eclectic witch an eclectic witch. You can dabble into tarot, but also dabble into herbs, but also dabble into astrology. And that's very much what I do. Like, I'm everywhere. Eclectic witches, I like it because it has a lot of freedom to it. Like, we make our own rules. We just take all the knowledge that we have learned and just put it all together and basically just figure out what works for us personally, which may not be a particular path. From some people, it may be a particular path, but for a lot of witches, it's just, we like everything, so we kind of go into everything. So number 11 is the Ceremonial Witch, and the Ceremonial Witch, you guessed it, has a lot of ceremonial customs. But most importantly, the Ceremonial Witch finds very important the etiquette and the rituals are their like specialty, basically. So ceremonial witchcraft is based off of like older traditions like the Kabbalah, for example. Enochian magic is another one. So they may perform rituals for different types of things that they've forged or have tried to accomplish. So ceremonial witches tend to call upon different sorts of creatures, different sorts of deities, different sorts of entities to help them with whatever they particularly need and to help them with their whole ritual. There's a lot of confidentiality within the community, so not too much is known about the ceremonial witches. Okay, so path number 12 is the Traditional Witch. So the Traditional Witch is a type of witch with a foundation in witchcraft and also the ancient crafts. So they practice using historical things, and they often study their ancestors and the folklore based off of their ancestors. So traditional witches typically want to respect the old craftsmanships of the practice. So these witches obviously attach great importance to historical customs. Those that practice traditional witchcraft typically have a very close understanding of the spirit of the land and place in their area, as well as a great understanding of historical and folklore magic. Number 13, we have the Hearth Witch. The Hearth Witch loves their home. Like, their home is their everything. Their home is their practice. Their home is their magic. It's basically their sacred space. And they cover every single corner of their home in magic. So similar to a kitchen witch, a Hearth Witch also likes to cook and put in magical practices into their food. But family is also very important to the Hearth Witch. Not to say that it's not important for the kitchen witch. I'm just saying, like, that's another sort of branch off of the Hearth Witch tree. And just they bring the simplistic aspect of themselves into their spells and their rituals. So that is 13 different types of witches. Let me know, is there any sort of path from here that you felt very called to? Did you feel called to the Eclectic Witch? Did you feel called to the Sea Witchery? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about any of this, definitely let me know down in the comments, or you can message me via Instagram. I'll put it somewhere here with any questions that you may have. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!